I did not sleep well last night.
Oh, you didn't?
I did not. So if I stumble, you might have to edit some shit.
Oh, I love a good edit.
Yeah.
I take out. We sound so smart in the edit.
Okay, good.
5, 6, 7, 8. We got Big Theater Kid Energy.
Hello and welcome to Big Theater Kid Energy. I am your host, Ryan Garcia. This is the show where I go and see plays and musicals here in Los Angeles, California, proving once and for all that Los Angeles is a thriving theater town. This is your least pretentious theater review podcast. And today we're breaking format a little bit because I went and saw Table 17 at Geffen Playhouse. And I saw a preview of it. And I'm not interviewing someone who saw the show with me. I'm interviewing the writer, creator himself. Douglas Lyons is here in studio. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
It's so wonderful to have you here. It's our whole origin story is wild. Also, all of our overlap connections and friends that we share is really interesting and wild.
Yep.
But I just it was so exciting just to message you and say, I'm ready and rearing to go and see your show at the Geffen.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why don't we talk about it?
I'm accessible. I ain't that busy. Let's
that
sit down
seems crazy
because
it does seem like you're
I'm
that
busy, but listen, we make time for things we care about.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So before we jump into you, when does the show run till?
Currently December 7th.
December 7th, but it could extend.
There's a possibility of a week. I don't know if that's not my call, but
yes, of course.
I hear it's selling well. That's what I heard. That's what the kids say.
So a little bit about you is that you're the most multi-hyphenate.
I do what I can where the check is.
I get it. You got to make that money.
Understand.
I
have
do.
To.
I do get it.
And you learn so much also by expanding your portfolio. Being an actor has taught me how to be a better writer because I understand that a page wants to be at a certain level. So when you hand it to actors, I've really cooked through it and combed through it and read through it and acted through it alone. Yeah.
Right. It's so important as a creative to have a view from so many different angles.
Yeah. And our jobs as actors are to study behavior. And so I walk through the world completely different. In airport, I'm like, why is he limping? Why? Why? Okay. That you would make eye contact with me. I wonder with it. You know what I mean?
It also makes my life a little bit better where I'm driving and someone cuts me off and I want to get mad, but instead I think, what's going on in his life?
There's that.
What's happening that either it's an ego thing where he thinks I've got to get there in front of him because I have to win, or is something bad happening and he's in a rush because he's got to get to a friend in the hospital.
It's all about perspective. What's interesting too is that I think exiting the airport in LA, and there was a black woman just, standing there saying, have a good day. And I looked at her and I was like, you too. And people don't get that back. And so she was like, oh, thank you.
Shocked.
It's shocked. It's like seeing people in the world is then writing them on the page, which is really fun.
Oh, I love that sentence you just said.
Yeah.
So we met in 2012.
Yes.
When you were doing Book of Mormon at the Pantages Theater.
Correct.
And I think what happened was I was working a catering event for opening night. And you and the whole cast was there.
Yep. It was across the street. I distinctly remember this.
And I also met Gray Henson there.
Yep.
Who I just saw. We both saw Bull Durham the same night at the Paper Mill Playhouse with Nick Walker in it.
Got it.
Who you also know.
Yes.
I was just talking with my friend here for the last podcast I did about Moulin Rouge, this friend Rosanna Pansino. And she's kind of an outsider to the theater world. And she's like, you know everybody in theater. And I said, no, we all know each other.
Everybody knows everybody.
It's such a tight-knit. Once you get into it, it's actually a very tight world.
1 degree of separation.
Yeah. So we met doing that. And then you remembered me when you brought your show to IAMA, the Don't Touch My Hair did the workshop at IAMA Theater Company.
Yes.
In February of this year.
Yes. This is my second show in Los Angeles this year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. In February, when I was here for Don't Touch My Hair, I got the call about Bo, my musical in New York, happening, and the confirmation of the Geffen doing Table 17. So it's been a whirlwind. I could not have predicted this year, but you gotta stay ready.
Yes,
the page has to stay ready. So when the calls come, you're ready.
But also, you've created a portfolio. You know, you can't be like, okay, it's just my one masterpiece. It's okay, I'm working on this one, but also putting energy into that, but I'm also auditioning for this, and
Yeah.
then writing music, composing for that, writing this. Like, you have so many different things on the stove that you're putting
Yeah.
energy into,
You have
because you
to.
don't know what's gonna hit.
That's the thing. Like so Bo happened once in New York.
Yeah.
And then found out it was transferring uptown. And I was like, hey guys, I'm supposed to be at the Geffen. And so I had to like reschedule. I did a week in New York. I went to Dallas for a week for writer's room for something else, went back to New York, came here for a week, went back to New York to open Bo
Oh my God.
for 2 weeks, out here for 2.5, and then back. And I ended up saying yes to things that I did not foresee coming because of the possibilities of what they can turn into.
Yeah.
You know, like writing on an animated pitch that's going to Disney is really cool.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I made the time for it because if that show gets picked up, I'll be in the writer's room. You know, it's like
Totally.
it's like gambling.
It is a bit like gambling, except that you're writing your own lottery ticket over and over and over.
I love that.
You also, this show right now, Table 17, had a really great off-Broadway run at MCC Theater, which is Manhattan Class Company Theater, which was founded in 1986. I relate to that because I was born that year. So I'm the same age as that theater.
Wow.
And that's like an awesome house to have your off-Broadway run at.
It was my off-Broadway debut as a playwright because
Yes.
Chicken and Biscuits went to Broadway
Yes, it did.
first, which is the opposite of the trajectory of what's supposed to happen.
And also, wait, this is crazy. I read this. I think I read on your website, the second most produced play in America in 2022, 2023.
Correct.
That's a wild stat.
Correct. Really crazy. Behind Lynn Nottage, the great Lynn Nottage. Yeah.
Wow.
The past 5 years of my life have been proof that anything is possible. It sounds cheesy, but like if you bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Like when I was backstage at Beautiful, I was writing Bo and Chicken and Biscuits. When I was backstage in the Parade revival, I was writing Table 17.
And this was as an actor.
As an actor in Beautiful and Parade. Yeah. Backstage at Parade, I was writing Table 17 between shows. And I struggled. It was not, seamless.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be a performer in Broadway.
In general.
End of sentence.
Yes. With that schedule.
That schedule, and also taking care of your body and your voice.
Yeah.
Throughout that, and also your mental well-being and your emotional well-being.
Yes.
And on top of that, you're building other things.
Yeah, but it's investment back in self.
Yeah.
Like, I think I fell in love with storytelling at 17, and acting seemed tangible because I had grown up as a PK, preacher's kid, singing and going to dancing school. And so musical theater felt like a combination of all the things I knew to love.
Yeah.
But secretly, what I learned a decade plus later is that I'm in love with storytelling. And when I found the page and I allowed myself to write, because I wrote music for the first 5 years, I didn't write script because I didn't want to fail. And in 2017, I finally allowed myself to do so. And I was like, oh, this is my own DNA. As an actor, you have to walk in a room and pour yourself into someone else's DNA.
Yeah.
As a writer, you constantly have the opportunity to go, well, what do I want to say? What do I want to put into the world today?
Yeah.
And that's no one can tell you no. They don't have to like it. They may not review it well, but no one can tell you no. And then you're creating jobs for other people. And so the legacy of like seeing Table 17 at MCC last year, and that was like 150 seat, and the Geffen, that audience is 512.
Yeah.
With a new actress in the center, Gail Bean, it's so exciting to go, oh my God, this story will work long after I'm gone, and it will provide jobs for young Black actors.
Oh God, I love that so much.
Yeah.
And at the thing I wanted to say earlier, because you kind of said it a little bit off camera, was how much, like, as an artist, you really have to become expert at so many different fields in order to succeed, because you don't know what's the thing that's going to take off. And when one thing takes off, it can support all the other parts of your artistic self. Like, it is that a rising tide raises all ships. But as an artist, you're so multifaceted that you don't know which part of you is going to be that foot in the door that allows the rest to express yourself to a larger audience.
And the industry fluctuates.
Right.
So in 2019, we closed Beautiful after 6 years. Chicken and Biscuits.
And can you tell me what Beautiful is? Can you just
Beautiful, the Carole King musical. I was in the original company on Broadway. A jukebox musical of Carole King's beautiful story. And
Wonderful.
I played a drifter, one of the doo-wop groups that she wrote for, and I sang Up on the Roof.
Amazing.
Changed my life. and taught me in the way that her story talks about finding herself through music.
Mm.
I was like, well, I can't just do this show. I mean, I could just do the show 8 shows a week, but I had time. I had 45-minute breaks. And so I started writing script. That was when I started writing script. But we closed in 2019. Chicken and Biscuits opened March 6th of 2020, right before the pandemic hit.
Oh my God.
And then the industry was shut down for 18 months. But during that time, my good friend Johnny Tartaglia and I had a Zoom, and he was like, hey, you're writing, right? We're filling the room for Fraggle Rock, the writer's room. Would you be interested? If I didn't write my Chicken and Biscuits and Bow samples, the years previous, I would not have had that for my showrunners.
You needed that. Yep.
And that's, it's like, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And so now if I have the time and the energy, I write or I connect with people, even like us meeting, 11 years ago, and look at us now. You never know.
So, by the way, more than 11. It's time. More time has passed than that.
Oh yeah, 2012.
It's been 13 years.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, but it's so true. It's exact. And then, like, I've surrounded myself with people in my life who are very much like that. A good friend of mine who's also who's also someone that you know very well.
Yeah.
Nick Walker.
Yes.
He's someone who's, there's photos and videos of him backstage of Hamilton while he's on his computer typing out Whiskeyland, his musical.
Yeah.
My wife is someone who went from acting to writing. And the reason was she realized, like, when she was a kid, what she loved was storytelling and movie making. She thought it was acting, but it was actually the whole aspect, the editing, the writing, the directing.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is actually what inspires me.
Yeah.
But I think it's so laudable. And to similarly to you, I had a very, like, perfect thing happen during the pandemic, where in 2019 I got into voiceover.
Yep.
And during the pandemic, nothing could work, but we made an entire Nickelodeon animated show over Zoom.
There you go.
All the actors together on Zoom, because that could work.
Yeah.
And so it really is, as long as you just keep putting your energy in places that inspire you and interest you, it's going to pay off.
Yes. It's betting on yourself.
Yeah.
And I really, people are not buying just products anymore.
No.
They're actually buying people.
Yep.
And the fullness of your energy and your vibe. Like, that's what I've learned too, is like, be the person that you can sit across from for an hour and have a coffee and talk about life, not just about what you booked or your resume. Be a human being, because the more you're a human being, the more your work will reflect.
And they have access to you to be like, do I want to spend time with you? Do I want to invest in you?
It's people don't. I casting 2 shows out here this year. Part of that process on the other side of the table is like, all y'all are talented,
right?
But sometimes there's a vibe. And if we give you one adjustment and there's a tinge of attitude, I'm like, thank you for the adjustment, but I picked up on something that you didn't know that you did.
Yeah.
And that makes me question if we want to spend 5 weeks together. You know what I mean? Like, it's so many things that go into that.
I think about this so much because of, like, the 4-year college program that a lot of artists go into to get their BFA and then continue maybe on to get their MFA. And I wonder how much of those programs are actually focusing on, like, who are you as a person in the room, and how much are they really just focusing on, like, building the instrument and making sure you're a great actor, because that's just not enough anymore.
Well, what's interesting, I went to the Hart School, University of Hartford, BFA musical theater program. And by the end of that program, for some people, we had folks that had entered musical theater and were leaving music directors and choreographers.
Right.
So they were still, doing their shows and getting their credits, but the staff allowed them to start assistant directing and doing other things.
Yes.
And they really saw, like, the individual.
That's huge.
In each of us. And I really appreciate the program, because we weren't all going to be chorus kids coming out some of these big programs, hopping in that just wasn't going to happen. And what's fascinating, there's a lot of Hart grads on Broadway in different ways.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, it's very specific to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Let's just jump into the show.
Let's do it.
Table 17.
Table 17.
At this point in the podcast, I tell you about Geffen Playhouse, right? But I already talked to you about it in my episode with Ben Giroux, where we saw Am I Roxy? So go listen to that one, and you can hear all about how it was the Masons that built it, what year it was, how many seats it has. But here we can jump right past that and get right into Table 17. Now, I don't usually have the benefit of having the writer here with me for the show. So do you have, like, one-liner, elevator pitch? What's Table 17 if someone's like, hey, what's this show?
2 ex-fiancés who were together for 5 years reunite over dinner in front of the audience, and we don't know why.
perfect. I know. That is so perfect. Okay, let me just talk about my experience walking into the theater. First of all, my wife is really sad because, like, the whole reason I started this podcast was because I was invited to go to Anne Juliet at the Amundsen, and it said Ryan Garcia influencer because one of the interns there is a Try Guys fan. And I was like, wait, I can get free tickets to theater. and she was like, oh, great, we're going to get to go to so much theater. And then I started this, and now the only people I take to theater are whoever my special guest is going to be.
I got you.
For this one, she got lucky because I didn't need to bring you. You are there.
Yeah.
We get to have a little date night in Westwood.
Oh, I love that.
And the first experience walking into the space is just like, it sets the tone and the mood of like, oh, this is going to be a good time.
Exactly.
Like, get ready. We got the disco ball already spinning. We're seeing audience members being sat on stage at tables there that are lit up. The vibe, the mood. I'm ready I'm already engaged.
Yeah.
With the world.
Yeah.
That you've built there.
Yeah, so Jalen and I did Chicken and Biscuits on Broadway.
And that's the director?
Yes, Jalen Livingston, who's having the Cats the Jellicle Ball come to Broadway in the spring. He's the co-director of that.
Oh!
But something that he says is like, he always strives to make our plays an event.
Yes.
And so even with Chicken and Biscuits, I always have a playlist with either a play or musical. There's always music playing because that really loosens the senses. And I sent a mood board to the designers, costume and set, of what I thought the world of Bianca's looked like. And Jason Sherwood, our set designer, was like, actually, those tables are from one of the renderings you sent me. And I didn't put two and two together. So the vibe that you feel when you walk in is very intentional.
Yeah.
And it's so that you really feel like you're in a club or a restaurant, and the music is familiar and nostalgic. And I think it sets us up for success because people aren't just walking into a dry, stale theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I so appreciated that. And the mood that was set was one I was very into.
There we go.
So in the original production, did Biko
Eisenmartin and Michael Rashawn, yes.
Yeah, but the actress in that was
Kara Young, two-time Tony Award winner. First African-American actress to win 2 Tony Awards consecutively, back to back.
Whoa, history maker over there.
Yeah, major.
Over here you have Gail Bean.
Miss Gail Bean.
Whoa, what a way to open the show.
Yeah.
She came in as a force.
Yeah.
It felt like she was been part of the world the whole time.
It's so fascinating. Like, the audition process was like, having to replace Kara for this production. And in her kit, her like EPK that her rep sent, there was a scene from one of the shows she shot where she was screaming on the toilet at her boyfriend in the show. And that's what Jada does in the play.
Yeah.
And the way she did it, I said, oh, that's the girl. Because I could energetically, the way she did that was very comparable to what Jada does. So yeah, it is. It's really cool and confirmation that the play works in a house that's 3 times the size.
That's
of
wild.
MCC.
But I was saying to you after the show that because there's those onstage tables, it gives us as an audience, no matter how far away from it you are, you feel like I'm also at one of those tables because you're experiencing it through those audience members there. So it shrinks the space. It makes it intimate by inviting them up on the stage with
They're
the
literally hugging the picture.
Yeah.
And the way it goes from the floor up.
Yes.
And you see people reacting. So
there was one moment that was so funny where someone wanted to confirm, I'm not a bad person, right? And at one table, the man went, no, and the woman went, yes. And it was one of the best laughs of the night.
Well, also part of the inspiration, I actually found there's a series online on YouTube of exes seated across from each other talking about the relationship. I saw that YouTube video and then I pitched it as a play to Newark's Provincetown in 2022. But also what I wanted to do was explore stand-up comedy, that style, which is why in the opening monologues, they're directly addressing the audience, because I watched a lot of stand-up during the pandemic. And I was like, there's something accessible about this form. There's an audience, but everyone's having a drink and chilling. And that's what sort of Bianca's, the restaurant is. And so meeting the characters that way and having that relationship and that rapport sets up an opportunity of fun for the evening.
And you really ask for that audience to be like there's crowd work happening. You're like, I want the crowd work. I want this communication to be open, which is exciting while simultaneously being dangerous.
Yeah, listen,
But I love the danger. The danger is what makes it fun.
Yes, and LA talks.
Yeah. Oh, is it different than New York?
New York, people eventually got there.
Oh, really? I was so interested in this because when they start the show, the opening thing that says turn off your cell phones and the exits are wherever you need them to be, but also it says we're going to talk to you and we want you to talk back. Please respond to us. And I heard that and I went, ooh, I wonder what this was like in New York versus here. So I want to hear that difference.
It grew over time in New York.
Yeah.
Unlike preview number 2, it was lit in ways that were like, we might have to add respectfully respond because people were, it's the biases that people bring into a love story.
Yeah.
Based on gender alone.
Yeah.
Like the male character enters and people are like, well, if y'all are ex-fiancés, you obviously did something wrong.
Yeah.
Boo! He barely has opened his mouth.
It doesn't matter. They've already got their preconceived notions.
Yeah, and everyone is actually bringing their romantic baggage into the room.
Yep.
Thus into the play. And so it's been fascinating.
Yeah.
But they're lit. And I'm watching 90-year-old white women with their canes leave the theater and go, "Thank you. I had a good time."
Yes.
And I'm like, well, you can't be more universal than that.
I was saying that too. I was saying like, here's these like young black people having like an interaction about their romantic lives, and an old white couple in front of me, like they're just nodding their heads, being like, "Yes, I relate. I relate." And I was like, that's what theater can do.
Yeah, that's what good art can do. Yeah.
Yes. Being a writer is your opportunity, and people want to know you. You want to get to know you, and I feel like what I love about your writing is I am really hearing your point of view coming through these characters, which is why it's so surprising you're wearing so much corduroy. Because I'm like, are you just like here repping the show? So like, well, I better wear
It's so funny. Like
the hat, the table 17 hat is
Yeah.
a corduroy hat, which is great, but you're also wearing just your own corduroy pants.
It becomes thematic.
Yeah,
I
if
didn't wear a
anyone
lot
didn't
of
know this,
corduroy.
in the show, he talks some serious shit about people wearing corduroy.
Well, it's a character flaw.
Yeah.
That's
what are you
It's
talking about a character flaw?
It's a character flaw.
Of yours or of the main character?
Of
Dallas.
Dallas. But it's when you're writing a rom-com,
Yes.
right? And you're in that territory, what are the cheesy, cute things that make people giggle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And so it's finding those specific details and craft. Like I am proud of myself in that, starting with Chicken and Biscuits, getting to table 17. I've paid attention. I mean, I've been watching since I've been here, the Jamie Foxx show. I grew up with Girlfriends and the Cosby Show, Family Matters. Like, if you go back and watch, the setup of those relationships and those jokes is very specific. And working on Fraggle too, I learned the technique of like what it is to write, like set up a punchline, to have a blow of a scene, things that I didn't know. And so with Table 17, it was an opportunity to take a form that I respected, which was like the Black 90s, early 2000s rom-com, but then put it in a theatrical voice.
Yeah.
And use that technique of setup, even more surprising in the theater.
Yeah.
Which is in the theater, you can do things you can't do
Totally.
in TV, film, and vice versa. So
main one being actual interaction with the audience that you're asking for.
Yeah.
Like there is a lot of that anyway. Like you're seeing a movie, sometimes you're feeling that reaction. Like I went and saw Weapons. Did you see that movie?
Yes.
And in the audience, like we were having a full group collective conversation with that screen. It's not changing or reacting to us, but there's one moment, I won't spoil anything with the movie, but everyone's like, ha 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 ha, I can't believe she just walked by that window. And then when you hear the door open.
Yeah.
But in this, you're actually able to, it changes.
The exciting thing for the actors, and I think it took them a while to figure that out, and anyone who does Table 17, it will take them time because the fourth scene partner, it's a 3-person play, is the audience.
Yeah.
And so when you're in rehearsal, you're like, hey, and no one's there. You're like, this doesn't feel right. And you really have to trust that once they have permission, you will be on a ride together.
And I wonder, like, you need a specific actor for that.
I think the play is teaching actors more permission that they have.
That's great.
I think the cool thing, and we learned that in real time too.
Right.
We're in like rehearsal at MCC, we only had 2.5 weeks, and then we were in tech.
Yeah.
And then like after the first few previews, we went, oh, that is the permission the show gives everybody in the room.
Yeah.
But you can only know that in a preview period.
What would be too rowdy?
Well,
Has
that
it
happened.
Yeah.
In the opening monologue the other day, a woman went, "You need a haircut."
That's not okay. When we're starting a conversation with the audience, it's not make judgments about my physical appearance.
Yeah, it was like, wait.
Not what we want
And
from
it's
you.
like, it's also when we talk to you,
yes,
talk back to
you
us.
may now respond.
He wasn't talking to you. So what are you talking about? I got really nervous with that one because we can't spoil too much, but if they start to hate any of the characters,
right?
They think they have permission to do anything.
Yeah.
But what's also cool is the freedom that works in two folds where like there are audible sighs, collective sighs, and they applauded at a pivotal moment yesterday too that did not exist in the New York production.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
great.
there's 2 or 3 new scenes or moments in this production that were rewrites after New York. And it was a preview period because we didn't get the timing right the first few previews. And then like the 4th or 5th one we did. And consistently the audience is screaming at one of the characters and then applauding. And I'm like, this feels like an after school. Y'all are really... They think they're at the movie. In LA, they think they're at the movie.
And LA audiences are vocal at movies.
Well, they're vocal at table 17.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah.
I was reading in your interview with Amy Levinson about how you also wanted to find more complexity between the two characters of like who people side with in the difference from New York to LA.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting because you're also talking about, hey, you're dealing not with just what you're presenting on stage, but also people's their own like teams that they come in on of like I have been treated this way by a man in the past, and so I am immediately cautious about you, sir. You know that like you have to cater to that.
Yeah, part of that goes back to the setup, which is like, what is the bias that people already have?
Yeah.
How do you hook them without them knowing?
Yes.
And then flip it and make them go, oh, maybe I shouldn't think
maybe
that
I wasn't
way.
right. Maybe I didn't know.
In New York, Dallas got a lot of heat for just being a man.
Yeah.
And what we realized in the rewrite is that he spent a lot of the play apologizing, which tipped the story to feel like he was the only one at fault.
Yeah.
And so with Biko, we had conversations about like, well, maybe we remove this. And instead of him apologizing, he explains, well, I actually needed something from you and you didn't deliver.
Yeah.
So you get more of his psyche in the moment rather than just an apology sometimes allows you to just get off and move on. But that doesn't mean you've actually healed the wound.
First of all of their performances were blowing me away and continued to throughout the play shock me with how they became they dove deeper into their own humanity. Each of the characters, including all of the characters that Michael plays.
Oh my gosh.
Which what a freaking trunk roll that is.
An
And by
award-winning
trunk roll. I really do mean like what a trunk roll is when you are asked to pull everything you got out of the trunk of characters that you have. And Michael is really doing it all, but also not as caricatures, but fully blown human beings that are. If you didn't know it, I'd be there's like 7 actors in this cast.
What's amazing, Michael and I went to college together.
Uh-huh.
So he's like my younger brother.
Amazing.
And he is the only actor that did the first 10 pages on Zoom.
Wow. He's been with you from the beginning.
The New York's Provincetown reading, both New York readings, MCC and LA. And he won 2 awards for this role in New York. The Lortel and the Outer Critics.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
But then there's something also about what Biko is doing. One, he feels so safe. I'm like, God, I want to hang out. I just want to like hang out with this guy. I feel like if I had like some single friends, I'd introduce them to him. You know, like I have some very close friends that I want to introduce people to. But like, you have any single friends? I'm like, you don't want this guy.
Yeah,
He's got
not that dude. Not that dude.
But he felt that way. And I thought also one thing that really endeared me to him is how much he was willing to be silly.
Well, you know what's fascinating? I think his performance from New York to LA morphed and grew because he learned he had more permission to be silly.
And I think that silliness gets us on his side.
Yeah. Jalen was giving prompts that like, in this scene, you're Martin. In this scene, you're in the Fresh Prince.
Oh!
In this scene, yeah. And so that
I love that framing.
That colored mentally the vibe because we're honoring, the 90s rom-com.
Yeah.
And also all these Black TV shows. And so as a reference, we know the energy of Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We know what that feels like.
Yes.
We know how stupid he was.
Mhm.
And even if you were like, give me some Carlton, we would know what that energy would be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's really beautiful to watch him craft that. And he's emotionally available.
So emotional.
As well.
Oh my God, his emotional availability was off the charts.
Yeah.
As well as Gail Beans, who like Gail Beans comes in and she's just like, boom, I like love myself and I'm fucking ready, but also like now I'm nervous, now I'm insecure, and then also you see the heart and the heart being put together and the heart being broken and shattered and like so many different aspects, and the way that the story goes through timelines where we skip around, like it was so well crafted, but also so well performed by these people that I was always on board. I always knew exactly where we were.
Yeah.
I was keyed in. And it did that thing where it's like, let's not start at the beginning of a scene. Let's start in the middle of a scene. And I felt like we're starting in the middle, but I'm already in.
Well,
I get it.
So fascinating. So this is a really good note from Bernie Telsey in New York. The final scene, which I won't ruin too much about, but it gave a lot of exposition to the meeting.
Yeah.
And Bernie was like, by this point in the play, I actually don't care about any of those 2 pages. I want to get to them. And I went, okay. And I cut it after the first preview and we didn't miss it.
When I'm walking out of this show, I'm talking so much about relationships and I'm not talking about what's going on in the plot.
Which is like, and it makes you think of your own.
Yes.
There's a woman who saw Table 17 in New York and got a divorce.
That's powerful.
Got a divorce.
I just got so many chills.
She told me. I was like, okay. And there are people from New York that saw it there. This guy yesterday who worked on the show, I look up and he had flown to LA. He had never been, but he wanted to see it again because he felt like so a part of it.
Wow.
In New York. And I was like, oh my God. Oh,
That's unbelievably
really cool.
powerful.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna say some things, and you tell me if you want them in there or not. But
Okay,
great.
great.
Like, some things that happen in the middle of it that just like spoke to me. Sometimes the wrong clarifies the right.
Surely does.
That's a lesson that can just be plugged in any aspect of life. That rather than demonizing things that are failures or mistakes or that have gone wrong, actually using them as ways to like make sense of what's working.
My father says it to me. Life is a series of mistakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do something that you think is fierce and you're defiant and you go, oh, wait, that's raggedy. Wait, Douglas, you don't want to do that. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you got to learn. And part of the scratches and the scabs are the lessons.
Yeah.
And now, at 38, I'm allowing myself to fail. I didn't write for 5 years on script because I was afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And when I started writing, I, stumbled along the way, but sometimes it's okay to be wrong if you're going to grow from it. Let's grow.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're always right, you're playing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
None of us ever are.
There's a thing, like even talking about like somebody who's fearless. I think actually being fearless is not a good idea. I think people who are fearless, like that might be sociopaths. But people who are brave, who like take big risks, who know the fear is there and know that they might fall on their face, but still try.
Yeah.
And take that first big step or that first big swing and fail. That is sexy.
Yes.
And that leads to actually growth.
Yeah, well, being brave means you're also responsible.
Yes. You're
fearless,
aware.
Yeah, fearless is like, I'm just going to try. And it's like, well, that's a little dangerous.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like, you're going to break a leg, you're going to break a heart, you're going to do something bad.
Yeah. Yep,
That line just like, that was near the beginning of the show, and that one just fucking, hit so deep to the truth
Yeah.
of me. And then the show shows you why that's very much like setting you up for the rest of this performance.
Yeah.
So because you are doing so many things, do you miss acting more? Do you wish you were acting more? Do you happy that you're writing? Is your writing leading to more acting?
This is the first calendar year since 2004 summer that I did not do an acting job. Now the year's not over.
That's right.
But I don't miss 8 shows a week. I'm not going to hold you.
Fair enough.
My ankles don't, my throat doesn't,
Yeah.
the one day off, I don't miss that.
Yeah.
I do miss performing, but I know I really want to get into TV film
Yeah.
and voiceover, as we spoke about. And so it feels like life is in chapters, and my new chapter is like this writing bag can set me up with relationships and stuff to end up on camera. The stage is always there. I just was in the Parade revival 2 years ago. And so I'm not done with acting, but it dominates a lot of your life. And from what I hear out here right now, it's a little dry.
It's very dry.
It's dry. And so I I got a garden, and that garden is my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody got to pay them bills. And if the writing is paying the bills,
then
guess
that's who's
who
getting
I'm
the
gonna
water
be?
and the soil.
Honey, I'm at Home Depot writing and digging, because
Getting that writing fertilizer.
Yeah, I like. I'm not dumb enough to hold out for someone else to give me permission for my dream.
Yeah. Ooh. Say that one more time. I love that.
I'm not dumb enough to hold out for someone else to give me permission of my dream, because this industry. And I know really talented people. I mean, I have this kid show, Polka Dots, 4-person show about the civil rights segregation, but told through the analogy of shapes, so polka dots and squares. But some of our original company members have blown up to do really major things. They're everywhere. But one of our first Lily Polka Dots, the woman at the center, is a huge voiceover artist. And I'm like, get it. If you only looked at theater, your voice wouldn't be all over the thing. You know what I mean? And so I always tell artists, like, what is your fullness?
Yeah.
Not what did you train?
No.
Not where you think you're supposed to be. I thought I was supposed to be a Broadway actor, and I did that. But then this writing thing, whoa, mama. Like, what is going on? This is wild.
And you got to ride the wave. It's very much like surfing. Like the ocean owes you nothing, and also the ocean is dangerous.
Yeah.
But like you're just, if long as you're out there.
And you got to give yourself permission to do things that people don't call you to do.
Yes. Gosh, you're dropping so many amazing. Who are you in this show? If you not even like, I know you're all of them. I know they're all aspects of you. So this is really two questions. One is, who would you play if you had, and if there was like no gender restraints, you could play anybody you wanted. Who would you play in this show?
I mean, I am River is my internal thoughts.
I knew it. River's the host at at Bianca's, right?
Yes. River says all the things that I think about people but don't say.
The moment River came out on stage in those pink boots and just gave us the sass, I went, oh, there you are.
Yeah. But it's also like, I've had to learn a bit of social responsibility and how I walk through the world, but I can write people who don't.
Freedom. There are some artistic guardrails and some artistic separation that allows you to like go full force.
Oh my God. And I'm just like, you know what? Y'all get on my nerve. Y'all get on my nerve.
Another line that killed me and also set us up so well for the show. This back and forth surprised me. I always will. I was like, gosh, that works in like, not only, it's just like, it's got positives and negatives.
We got a dramaturg in the house.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
Like, surprise me, I always will. Like, cute. That sounds so like it's saying in the right scenario. You're like, oh my God, I love that. I don't know what drink I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to have for my birthday. Maybe we're going to have a little party. And then it's like, surprise me. Where the fuck were you?
Hello.
I did not like that surprise. Who you with?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I didn't even think about that.
Surprise me, I always will was a line that I went, fuck, that's a dangerous thing to be like signing up for.
And love is dangerous.
Yes.
And beautiful.
There's a moment that, as we're going back in timelines, there's like a dance when they're at the club, which by the way, the sound balance in that was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Whereas like it felt like you could hear like the club and them having to speak over it, but also I could hear them so clearly.
Yeah.
Really well done. Really well done. But Biko is working hard on that dance floor.
Those are his choices.
But no, but I love that. But that's not even like what I'm calling out.
Yeah.
He then comes back into the dinner scene and he's sweaty as fuck. And he pulls out in the present moment, he pulls out his handkerchief to wipe it off. And I'm like, that's stress sweat. That's not dance sweat. That's a man who is freaking the fuck out. I like that worked so well for me.
I love that.
Where I was like, fuck yeah, this like the sweat from the dance is now the sweat from me like not knowing what to say to my ex-fiance.
I love that. I actually don't watch the shows. I listen. So if you watch me in the house during previews, I'm like this. My eyes are closed because I'm listening to the rhythm.
Yes.
I've like written my own iambic pentameter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, that was a beat late. I'm not watching. I watch on opening night. So I'll watch on Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's the theme of sobriety that comes through this. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. That was it's always been a trinkle in the story, but with this new rewrite, it's a real journey.
It's a very important journey, it feels like, for Dallas.
Yeah.
This sobriety aspect that I felt as a sober person, I really like related to how much you honored it. and honored aspects of like the program that you could see he was battling with and dealing with there in the moment, and also just like what it's like when you're freshly sober too. Like I know he's been sober for a little bit, but when you're freshly sober, you tell someone you're sober and they're like, "Oh, I don't have to. I won't drink if you don't." I'm like, no, honestly, it actually makes it harder on me if you change yourself.
Yes.
For my sobriety.
Yeah.
I want you to live exactly as you're living.
Yeah, live your life.
But then there's also the aspect of the program where you're going through a 12-step and you're dealing with amends, but then you're also dealing with do no harm. So it's like and that's such a conflict that you live in of like, I want to make amends to you, but if I make amends, does that then do harm? Like there's aspects where like for as a random example, maybe you robbed a liquor store when you were using.
Yeah.
And now you want to make amends to that liquor store, but you weren't alone when you robbed it. And so if I make amends, I'm actually implicating somebody else in the robbery. That's now I'm doing harm if I make this amends.
Yeah.
So he's here to make amends because inherently this is not getting the other way because they're ex-fiancés that are meeting up. Clearly there's something to make amends about.
Yeah.
That like, how do I make amends here without doing harm? And it's like this needle, like threading the needle that's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fascinating growing up and getting to the late 30s and the idea of amends. And I've, as of late, had to decide what is worth holding on, what harm that has happened to me is worth holding on to, who deserves my healing and my apologies, and who also am I like, you know what, I've forgiven you, please don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Or you owe me an apology, and until you come right, very silly, until you do right by me, we won't be good because I deserve better, which is also a new line that Jada says. It's like, it's that needle of being forgiving to yourself and of others, but then also requiring respect for a life that you deserve, and love, going back to love with the play, love that you deserve. And if someone's not giving that to you, honey, they don't deserve your time.
Yeah.
You know, so that is something I've had to learn in friendship, in family dynamics.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you giving me? Are you harming me right now?
Right.
Do we always call this love, but actually it's harm? You know what? You go work on yourself. Call me. I'm here. I will always love you here, but I don't have to deal with you.
I don't have to be around it.
Yeah, I don't have to welcome
And
it
it's
into
also
my
like,
space.
when is an apology about healing me and when is it about healing the relationship?
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I don't have to heal the relationship. Like, I just need to apologize you to lift this off my back.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes I don't even have to say it to you.
Yeah.
To actually give
You
that
don't even gotta
forgiveness.
know.
Yeah, I've already done it in my own heart. And I'm good, which I thought was like another theme in this show that was so wonderful. So there's just so many aspects of this show that just spoke to me so as such truth through, by the way, such incredibly fully lived in, deep, infused with humanity, sexy performances. Can I talk about how sexy these performers are? Like,
I mean,
oh
they're gorgeous.
my God,
They're gorgeous.
there's some gorgeous human beings up
Yeah,
there.
they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. And I just love the intimacy of love that we're witnessing between Jada and Dallas.
Yeah.
And that inside joke and that cuddle and that kiss. And, you know, love is such a spectrum of memories.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of some of my exes and I think of my relationship now and I'm like, I did not have the intimacy I have now with any of my exes.
Right.
It's a different language. It's deeper. That's how fascinating.
Mm.
And like sometimes in love, you have someone you can hang out with, but you haven't gone emotionally deep.
No. But sometimes some of my best friends, I'll go and I'll have lunch with them and Kelly will ask me, so what's going on in their life? And I'll say, I got no fucking clue. We just did bits for an hour.
And sometimes that's cool too.
But that's all we need. And there's moments that we come together and we do have like the deep and meaningfuls. But there's sometimes where it's just like, I love you because the time that we spent together just brings me joy.
Well, there's that too, is that love can be time. Love can be the thing that I have learned from this rewrite of the play is love is effort.
Yeah.
It's not outcome. It's effort, which is a line in the play.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing the difference between people I have not spoken to in 2 years who will show up. I have people out in LA that I went to middle school with who bring all their girlfriends to come see my work. And I have friends in the city who will not show up to support me off Broadway in my musical. And so you think about effort.
Yeah. Woo.
effort. You are showing me effort or a lack thereof, and then I have to act accordingly.
Right.
You know, and the older I get, the more I'm like, oh no, love is effort. Love is, how we show up for each other. We don't got to talk all the time because we can't. But when given an opportunity, did you show up?
Yeah.
Or reach out and say, I can't.
Right.
You
Right. It's just the communication.
Communicate with me, baby.
If someone can communicate with me, I've got all the forgiveness in the world.
Yes.
Just communicate with me in a timely manner, and I love you.
Yep.
Theater has this real powerful way in a way that all art does, but I think theater, like we're all breathing that air, it changes it, how it really can change your body chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
From coming in to when you exit.
Oh, yeah.
And I really think, like, for me and for my wife, like, we walked out just buzzing, excited. It enhanced our own love and our own connection, like wanting to be deeper with each other, being proud of where we are in our relationship. I think, as the way you said, like, somebody walked out of it and got divorced. This show does a great job of, like, highlighting what a disastrous and unhealthy relationship can be like, and also what healthy relation to another human being can also look like. And you can test your own up against that prism.
Yeah. And you have to decide what is worth the effort. It asks questions of you. Are you articulating what you need from your partner? Or do you expect them to read your mind? These are things that come up in the play.
Yes.
Right?
I haven't had a visceral reaction from the audience. When that point came up, some person behind me, some woman went, "We do that." And some man like responded going, "Yeah, they do." Like, they were like, it was like actual conversation happening.
Yeah. Well, it's also a reminder of, like, I've had 3 sets of friends either get divorced or go through separations and get back in, like, their 30s. And it happened back to back to back this year.
Wow.
And it shook me.
Yeah.
Something I will say about my current relationship is we talk about, it's annoying, but we will talk for 40 minutes to get through. No one's screaming.
Yeah.
But we will talk. But at the, on the other side of it, we're like, I understand you better.
Yeah.
And sometimes relationships break down because we're simply not articulating what we need. And we get upset. But did you stop and say, hey, I don't like that you do this? Or did you just expect them not to do it? Or did you just flip out because they did it? But they didn't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's love is work. That's the other thing love is.
And look, we're talking about, like, the effort. There's this one style of, it's like heartfelt listening or something like that. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like something from couples counseling. And it's so slow, because half the time, like, you're dealing with that long conversation with your partner. Yeah. And half the time you're just, like, trying to be heard, and you're not actually hearing, because you're spending so much of that time being like, I'm not being understood. And this one way of doing it is, after you speak to me, I will then say, that makes sense to me. And then I will say back to you everything that you said to me to make sure, and did I get that right?
See, now I'm bringing that home.
And you can stop somebody and say, can you hold on? Because now you've said so much, I'd like to repeat it back to you.
Yeah. That's great.
And then you can say, did I get that right? And the other person can say, actually, this is not it. It's this. And then after they finish their whole side, you don't even get to talk about your side yet. They finish their whole side. Then you say, I imagine that makes you feel this, this, and this. So first you get through the facts. Make sure you got all the facts right. And then you talk about what you think they are feeling about it. It forces you into empathy and takes you away from your own side. And then once they've gotten their point out, then it switches to you, and they have to then repeat what you're saying and talk about how you feel.
You don't know how much this is homework.
And it's slow, but it's actually fast when you think about how most of the conversation happening, if you don't do it that way, there's no actual back and forth.
You're not listening.
They're just talking at.
Well, it becomes trigger, reaction.
Yes.
Trigger, reaction.
And then we're not even talking about what we're talking about anymore.
We're not listening.
Look, this is what this show does. This show, we've gotten off of talking about the show because the themes and the point of the show gets us into talking about real relationships and mature, healthy, if you want them to be, relationships that take effort and time and care, empathy, and a little bit of grace.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of grace of self too.
Yes.
Grace of self and grace of the partner. And also that, like, another theme of the play, it changes.
Yeah.
I asked my partner last night, I was like, are there things that I'm doing now that you noticed in the beginning? Because there's some things I've noticed. And he's like, yeah, I haven't said. And I was like, well, we should talk about it.
Maybe you want to say them?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think another well, this is actually, I like this line. Communication keeps the kitty happy.
Ooh,
is a line from the play.
Yeah.
I won't say much more than that.
Yeah, keep that one.
What's beautiful about Table 17 that I'm witnessing is that at a time where the country is very divided, in that room, I've seen Asian folks, Latino folks, elderly white folks, young Black queer folks, Black women, laughing, crying, loving, in harmony.
Together.
And theater can do that. And what Terrell Alvin McCraney has orchestrated in that space.
The artistic director of the Geffen Playhouse.
Yes, by bringing this play there. I didn't know how powerful it could feel. Because in New York, you're in a bubble.
Yep.
In a black box. And I didn't know. I was like, what if these people don't take to the story? It's going to be very uncomfortable. And they are swallowing it whole.
Yeah.
And it's encouraging when I'm looking online at these ICE raids and all this other stuff that are, it's breaking my heart.
Yeah.
To walk in that theater and go, we can sigh together. Our heartbeats can flow together around a story that I had the blessing of like putting on the page. Oh, that's magical. That is the human experience. That is hope, And so growing up in church, I always make the parallel of like the chapel is the theater and the congregation is the audience and the stage where the preacher is, I just feel like there's something communal and, there's glory happening in a non-spiritual way in that theater, and I'm really proud of it.
Oh, I love that so much. Please, please, please. If you're in LA, if you're coming through LA, go get tickets. They make affordable options for everyone. This is not just for the elite. This is for everybody to go and see Table 17 at the Geffen Playhouse, running through December 7th, maybe longer.
Hopefully.
Maybe longer. It depends on if you actually go and see it.
You got a lot of tickets.
Support local theater, support live theater, support Table 17, written by Douglas Lyons, performed beautifully, directed gorgeously. The stage, the set, everything is so worth it for you to go and experience this show. Douglas, do you have anything else that you're working on right now? I think coming up, anything you want to promote?
For sure. I have a musical running in New York City called Bo the Musical. It's an actor-musician queer coming-of-age story. And we are currently at St. Luke's Church on 46th and 8th. It's our encore run from a run that happened at Out of the Box Theatrics this summer downtown. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. And people are taking to it. And if you're in New York, check that out. And I have some TV film things up my sleeve and a really cool major musical up my sleeve.
Oof. And let this podcast right now be a lesson to you that you don't know who you're going to meet 13 years ago, who's going to later, because you were friends on, at that time, Facebook, and you keep that like distant relationship alive, and then they happen to do a workshop at a theater company that you're an ensemble member of, and then you start a podcast and they want to come and be on it with you. You don't know where relationships will go. So just be a good person.
Yeah.
Just be a good, interesting, kind, and empathetic person out in the world. And you don't know who you're going to bring into your life. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm so happy you came in here.
I love it.
This is
I'm
a
very
blast.
happy. Yeah.
But seeing your show is also a blast.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to the end. Go ahead and follow, like. So what's your? Should I follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm still on the Twitter, whatever that is. Douglas Sings, and then Instagram, Chocolate Hipster.
Chocolate Hipster on Instagram.
Chocolate Hipster.
Check out that chocolate.
Hip.
Oh, the hips. I see. You're doing the hips.
Well, no, like hips. It's more like hipster dress, but.
Oh, I thought you were giving me.
But
like
I like this too. I'm gonna add that.
Chocolate Hipster on Instagram.
Yes.
Also follow Big Theater Kid Energy everywhere that you can follow things. Like, subscribe, review, do all the things, and let me know if you wanted me to see any shows, have any guests, or any segments on this. Really, just respond to me. I'd like to know how you want to be involved and how you'd like me to shift this podcast. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
We got Big Theater Kid energy. Look out, we project, we sing out, Louise. Never market, always go full out. John Patrick Shanley never had a doubt. Our voices are warm, fan kicks are high. We've got perfect form. We say thank you, five. Grab your prop, charge all the glow take. Curtains going up. 5, 6, 7, 8. We got Big Theater